Welcome to the bold analysis. I have decided to do this video while standing because there is a point I want us to get here. Kindly make sure you watch this video to the end. You've listened to several analyses about this AUC from this channel and other channels. But I've realized there is a conversation that strategically is being left out, and we need to get it. I have listened to the speech from President Ruto in Addis Ababa before he took his flight back to Kenya, vis-a-vis what Kalonzo Musyoka said today in Mwingi. I want us to compare the two, and from that, you'll clearly see the discussion that Kenya Kwanza doesn't want us to talk about. There is something that President Ruto and the team are diverting the attention of the country from. Kindly take your time and listen to this video to the end, because there is something I want us to get from there.
I would not be telling the truth if I didn't say I am disappointed. I am. But I am disappointed because of two things. Number one, I am disappointed that Raila Amolo Odinga did not win, because he was the best candidate. And I have a regret for Africa that they missed an opportunity to be served by the finest of our country. Having said that, I have three things that I'm proud of. Number one, Baba made me very proud. He was the best candidate that we could put forward. He was available. Whenever I booked an appointment, he was there. Whenever he had to travel, he was there. Whenever it was early morning or late evening, he was present. And he was there all the way. As a candidate, I want to tell you, as a politician, I have supported many candidates. Right? On this Africa Union chairmanship, Tinga, Baba exceeded all expectations. He drove the campaign like it should have happened, and therefore I am very, very proud of you that this moment, as they say, every cloud has a silver lining. When we thought whatever happened on June 25th was a dark day for Kenya, and indeed it was, but it gave birth to a new beginning for our country. And we can now do more, better together. I am more than sure that this moment is such a moment that again, a new moment is going to come where we can rally our country, we can create a new momentum, and we can take this to a new level. I am very proud of the people of Kenya. If there is one candidature that put all of us from all corners, all persuasions, all religions in one place, it was the candidature of Raila Amolo Odinga. I saw across the political divide, by yesterday, all Kenyans were behind our candidate. There were prayers offered in many places, in mosques, in churches, and in places in between. Raila Odinga's candidature unified our country.
Now let me tell you, I've just played for you a snippet of the whole speech, the whole statement. That was some dinner that was organized for Raila. President Ruto spoke for around 10 minutes. I've listened to the 10-minute speech. Please, you can look for that video clip around. You can look for, these are the YouTubers. Just check Ruto speech in Addis Ababa. You're going to get that speech. There's some things I want us to, throughout the 10-minute speech, the president is simply talking about local politics back in Kenya. From there, I'm wondering, it was an AUC election we have lost. When the president is making his speech, he's talking about how Raila Odinga's bid has brought the country together, that by the time Raila Odinga was vying, he saw solidarity from all the tribes, he saw solidarity from all the political parties, from all the religious organizations, and all stakeholders in the country. In this end, I would want to ask, did we present Raila Odinga's candidature to unite the country? Was that the objective? Partly yes, partly no. Then the second issue is talking about is that Raila was the best candidate for the job, and the African presidents have missed the chance. That is also another step. That is another narrative. I've also seen Pauline Njoroge posting about it. I dare want to ask, and you know, I said that we don't want to pamper Raila for no reason, because these are the things. You start saying you're the best candidate, then the next minute you tell him, now Baba, stop vying for AU, now you're going to vie for UN. Where is this evidence that Raila is was the best candidate? Who did that? Who did that research? Where was that merited? I'm not saying he's not. What I'm saying here is, how did we merit Raila as the best candidate for it? Throughout that statement, William Ruto is only talking about how Raila was good. I don't know how Raila was available when called for some meetings with African presidents. He's just saying the way how Raila was supportive, the way, you know, supporting Raila came from some unity, working together. That is not it. Remember, in 2017, we presented the candidature of Amina Mohammed, lost in the third round. 8 years later, in 2025, we presented the candidature of Raila Odinga. If you compare Amina Mohammed and Raila, Raila was a superior candidate. We still lost. Isn't it the right time to ask ourselves a simple question? As a country, Kenya, is there something we are getting wrong? The question of our foreign policy. And this is something that no one wants to talk about. You will see another MP saying, let's blame Uhuru Kenyatta. Another one is saying, what was Amina Mohammed doing in Addis Ababa? Another one is saying, you know, look guys, I've been consistent in my analysis. I've been saying, and I said, and oh, I'm glad some of our viewers check through my videos. I kept on saying, I doubt the possibility of William Ruto campaigning for Raila Odinga. And number two, I doubt whether Kenya had a very good global standing to win that seat. And that is where the problem lies. We've been faltering. It is a time we needed to ask ourselves the simple questions. Guys, it is in Kenya that Kesho, I've called Macron. I don't know about his giving us, I don't know, support for which piece where. The other moment, oh, I've called Trump. We've spoken with the Trump about this and that. Another time, oh, I've called President what? Some other month, we are rolling a carpet for another prime minister. I don't know from where. Are those things helping us? Are those things helping us? Because those are the things that we've been doing. Although I've been invited to speak, I don't know where, in some forum. Remember, we needed to ask ourselves, interrogate very serious questions. Listen to Kalonzo.
Now he lost because he lost while he has been a former prime minister. And I agree with Mheshimiwa Gideon. Yule amepoteza Addis Ababa sio Raila Odinga, ni William Samoei Arap Ruto ndiye amepoteza, na ndiye amedhuru sura ya nchi. Hebu angalieni kikundi cha South African Development Team SADC kikiongozwa na South Africa, Zimbabwe, Zambia, Botswana. Hata mimi mwenyewe nilikuwa nimesukuma marafiki zangu kama President Akaide wa Zambia na ambaye amechaguliwa upande wa Botswana, ni rafiki yangu sana President Duma. Wote walikuwa tayari kumpigia Raila Odinga. Lakini wakati Ngoma, mji wa Goma uliangushwa ukachukuliwa na M23, na juzi wamechukua mji wa Bukavu, pengine wanaelekea Kisangani, DRC, nchi ambayo nimefanyia kazi mimi mwenyewe. Askari jeshi wa SADC hasa wa South Africa wengi zaidi ya 50 waliuawa Goma. Tanzania vile vile wakauawa. Nchi ya Burundi iko katika hali ya wasiwasi. And Burundi is an East African country. Congo itself is an East African country, DRC. Hiyo harufu mbaya ya kuingilia maslahi ya nchi ya DRC, wakati Ruto alianzisha hapa Nairobi River Congo Initiative, ilikuwa inaongozwa na nani? Na aliyekuwa chairman wa IBC wa DRC, and then leaders of M23. That is what has spoiled the party for Raila. Tshisekedi, I know him, ni rafiki ya Raila kwa mfano. Walikuwa na maumivu. Huyu rais wako anafanya nini? We have even joined the East African community, na huyu rais wako anaingilia mambo yetu. This is the truth. Uhuru Kenyatta, who was a facilitator, akatolewa mamlaka, akatolewa pumzi. He had no time. Remember, we had East African Standby Force, wakaondolewa so that these people will now move. The 16-member bloc of SADC had issues with the leadership of William Ruto, and this is why he tried to say ataitisha kikao maalum Nairobi. Nobody came. Mpaka mwisho akasema okay, let us do joint EAC SADC Dar es Salaam. This is what has caused this terrible loss to the country, na kupaka Raila matope kwamba amepoteza. That is one reason, one major reason, because that block ya 16 waliposema ataanza kupigia mtu yao wa Madagascar in round 2, kumbukeni Raila alikuwa na 22 votes, lakini after mtu wa Madagascar wa SADC supported amejiondoa, SADC yote inaenda kusupport Djibouti because they have a problem with William Ruto over the DRC problem.
And what Kalonzo is talking about is what we needed to talk about. You know, that is it. The first question is this. Yes, we had a candidate Raila Odinga. I was asking someone, a very senior diplomat from this channel. I was asking him, why do you think Uganda did not present a candidate? Do you think they don't have qualified people? The answer is no, they have. Why not Tanzania? At one point, even Kikwete was vying. Why did Kikwete, why did Kikwete bolt out? Do you think Sudan, there is no candidate? Do you think Ethiopia? How about Somalia? How about Malawi? Do you think it's only in Kenya that we could get a candidate? We needed to interrogate our standing. I still insist the problem is not Raila Odinga. Kenya was not within the winning range for very many reasons. And all that borders our foreign policy. This election, I want to repeat, is not won on how many presidents you visited. No. If it is won on that, then Raila would have been the winner. Because Raila visited more presidents than the Djibouti candidate. It is not won on how many summits in the continent the candidate attends. Since last year in August to January, Raila attended all manner of summits and conferences in this continent, talking to the African presidents. But we still missed it. So why are we not? We've engaged in other things. Ruto is saying, Africa lost chance to elect the best, who, the country has been united. We are running around a problem that we don't want to face. We're not losing it for the first time. We lost it in 2017. We lost it in 2025. Is us the problem? And I want to tell you why that discussion is not coming forth. And the president doesn't want to talk about it. Because we have been hiring rejects. I mentioned, let me tell you. Before you even, someone was, and yeah, I got that. And thank you, Anne, for this explanation. Immediately this was announced that it was the East African turn for the seat. We saw that conman from Nigeria, and I believe he's a conman. He conned Raila, all those things. It was part of the script. That Obasanjo going to Karen and telling Raila that, Raila, you are the best. You stand. You remember that speech when Obasanjo went and told Raila in Karen that Raila is the best? And that's why the other video I said that Raila Odinga should really look around who is meeting Raila. And because he's at the age of Raila, after meeting William Ruto in State House, and Obasanjo is the one who was the prefect, the co-convener of that handshake between Ruto and Raila. You understand? Then he goes to Karen and tells Raila that, what, you are the best candidate for it. Then because Mzee in his age, it comes with age. He cannot analyze it fully. So one person was telling me, before you even arrive at Raila, you must sit back. And even some of these ambassadors, we have Raila, we've announced it. Can you move across the country? What are the media saying? Can you attend interviews in those media stations there? Can you try talking about Raila? Can you get the feedback? No, you also have intel in those countries, because in those countries you're not tourists. You're not a tourist. So our ambassadors are even enough. Our 47 ambassadors in this continent could, if William Ruto will take a moment, before you even say that Raila is going to vie, or announce his candidature and wait, do some research, find out, what do they think about Kenya? Can they support Kenyan candidate? An ambassador from Malawi will tell you that Kenya is perceived as a superior in this East, and they feel threatened. And so if Kenya is going to present a candidature, he's going to face a very strong opposition from the giants of Nigeria, Ghana, and South Africa, and Egypt, and Algeria, and Morocco. You need to know that. Kenya is a giant in that Eastern African stretch. If you look at, let me tell you, kama ni kwa pesa, you cannot compare Egypt and us. We are miles ahead of Egypt. Not Egypt, Djibouti. Djibouti is a very small country. Toshana na Kiambu County hapa. In fact, if you take the whole stretch of coast, maybe you have Djibouti, probably. Is it about money? No. So these ambassadors will be able to tell you, but how will they tell you these people are political rejects? They are not diplomats. The people who are there. So the moment they say yes, Raila Odinga the candidate, they all say yes sir, Raila is the candidate. Yes sir, Raila is the candidate. Then all of a sudden you turn Raila to be a local tourist, flying from one capital to the other, you know, taking photos, and then you come and say no, hiyo mchezo sisi hatutaki. We understood that we had some bad manners with DRC Congo. We had our bad manners. Ruto called Macron about DRC Congo. Na hiyo Macron anafukuzwa West Africa. West Africa, Macron is the France president. He is persona non grata in those Sahel nations and larger part of West Africa. There is a coup against the French in those countries. Now you call Macron on DRC problem. At the same time, this gentleman known as Kagame is getting a lot of feedback from Israel. He's getting backing from, he said to be getting backing from Israel. The other day he was in Qatar. Well, unaingia hapo. Mimi I'm the East African. There is something Kalonzo have said. Ruto tried to convene a meeting for the Eastern Africa hapa. It failed. Nani did not attend. The dear Congo president did not attend. Museveni is attended but never said anything. The Evariste Ndayishimiye attended, then by the time he was supposed to talk, he started saying there is a network problem. A whole president. Then at that point, the president said, now we're going to hold a SADC EAC summit. And at the same time, the 16 SADC nations knows very well that Ruto and Kagame are the same thing. How you want Raila Odinga to be an AUC chair, and yourself, you are the champion of institutional reforms. You are the champion of, I don't know, climate reform. You are also perceived as American head boy in the continent. You are conflicted. From that end, I strongly believe that even in the next 10 years or so, we are not still viable to present a candidature for the AUC, for an African Union seat. Not yet. Not yet. Remember, there is some unwritten law that no giant country should present a candidature. It was only South Africa that broke that law in 2012 when they won it. Kenya is considered as a giant. If you look at that Eastern Africa stretch, all the way from Djibouti, Djibouti, Ethiopia, Somalia, South Sudan, Uganda, Rwanda, Burundi, Tanzania, Tanganyika, Malawi, Zambia, Seychelles, Madagascar, Mozambique, Zimbabwe. If you look at all that if you look at all that space, Kenya is ahead of all those countries. And they are not comfortable with Kenya. Alafu unatoka hapo pole pole, I have a candidate. I have a superior candidate. Tuonane bwana.